Faizon Love is in the news for some comments he made during his interview with The Art of Dialogue. During the conversation, Faizon was asked who he thought is the most overrated comedian, and his response was Katt Williams. Faizon would ask the interviewer where was Katt's successful movies, TV shows, and would eventually end up calling The Pimp Chronicles and American Hustle whack. If you did a stand-up special 20 years ago and you ain't said nothing since, that's a trick pony. Now, this isn't the first time Faizon has publicly criticized Katt Williams, nor is it the first time he's gone at another comedian. Faizon's argument has us wondering if a comedian needs to do movies and TV to be considered a great comedian. Today we have our comedy hype analysts, Capone and Pierre, calling to the show to give their thoughts and reactions. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
When it comes to comedians, right, who would you say is the most overrated comedian of all time?
Katt Williams. Where's his successful movies? Where's his successful TV show? He did the stand-up, okay. He did 19 of those. Where's he great at? Greatness is consistent.
I mean, Pimp Chronicles, that was a dope stand-up, man. And I mean,
Whack.
American Hustle, that was a dope
Whack.
stand-up too. So, I mean...
That stand-up is just one part of the shit. And he got stand-up, TV, movies. That's a complete artist. If you did a stand-up special 20 years ago and you ain't said shit since then, it's a one-trick pony.
Now, let's dive right into this one because there's a couple things that I want to unpack here. Pierre, I'll start with you first. I want your reaction to Faizon Love, but also, do you agree with his statement that Katt Williams is overrated?
He was holding on to a big-ass blunt with some real strong weed up in that mother. Faizon, I know I love him to death, but nigga, what was you smoking, nigga? What the? Come on, Faizon. It was a little disjointed. It went everywhere with it, you know, everywhere it went everywhere. Sometimes I was like, all right, I see what you're saying. And sometimes I was like, what the hell you saying? But, you know, that's Faizon, man. You know, he gonna give it to you where he'll give it to you. So it was interesting. I'm ready to unpack this thing and start pinpointing some stuff on it. So my first inclination was, come on now. That's why Faizon. That's why we're doing a segment on him.
Now, do you agree with his statement about Katt Williams, that Katt Williams is overrated?
No, I mean, we talk about stand-up, a comedian. First of all, no, I don't think he's overrated. You know, he brought in the other things, the movie and TV stuff. And let's be honest, when Katt Williams jumps into something on film or TV, he shines. And you saw him in Boondocks, he shined. You know, that's TV. You know, in Atlanta, he won it for that TV show. Atlanta, he won an Emmy for his guest spot. You know what I'm saying? His roast, when he's on roast, he kills. Friday he killed. Next Friday he killed on that role. First Sunday, Norbit. So when he jumps into something, he kills it. Let's be real. He may not have a long first time in there, but he kills when he jumps in it. So to say that, and 19 specials is impressive. So I don't know. Even if you just talking about his stand-up comedy, other parts of his work is good enough to me to be considered a very good comedian and one of the great Black comics to me. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, and I love those points that you gave. Thank you so much for laying down the...
And my last thing, to say overrated, are we talking about, because if you're talking about you gotta be film and television, then Paul Mooney, he never did film and TV, really. Robin Harris did one little movie, you know what I'm saying? Patrice O'Neal, and they're considered great comedians. So we're talking about stand-up, comedians, what we doing here? But those three guys, you know, they didn't have a breadth of a big career in TV and movies, you know, and right. They were considered great.
Yeah, and hold on to that because I definitely want to dive into that a little more because, yeah, I have a question about that as well. But first, let me come to you, Capone. Capone, first, I want your reaction to seeing Faizon Love, but also, do you agree with his statement that Katt Williams is overrated?
No, I don't agree. And my reaction to it, technically, it's his opinion. I can't knock him for his opinion. That's the way he feels, but I don't agree with him. I mean, that's the gift that we all have from God. We got a way to voice our opinion, and he strongly voiced his opinion about it.
What makes you not agree with him? I know Pierre listed out something. What are those things that makes you not agree that he's not overrated?
First of all, Katt Williams sells out shows. Ain't no mediocre comedian. He sells the hell out, and you know, everybody's not going to agree with him being what Faizon said, but the numbers speak for itself. 19 specials. Like Pierre says, he kills every time the film touches him. And no, I can't agree with that at all. Personal might be something different, but when it comes down to this game, he got it.
I love it. I love it. Now, Pierre, you jumped the gun a little bit, but I want to dive into this a little more because I felt like the question was, who's the most overrated comedian? And then Faizon started talking about as a whole artist. So I kind of want to get down to the nitty gritty of that. Pierre, I'll start with you. As mentioned, to be a great comedian, do you need to have a TV show and movies in addition to stand-ups in order to be considered a great comedian? Help break that down for me.
Well, it all depends on how you define comedian. There's comedians and there's stand-up comics. They mirror a lot of times. They're very close. I don't know what the guy from Art Dialogue, what he was asking him. Was he asking him as a straight comedian of all kind of work, entertainment-wise, or was he talking about a stand-up comic? He didn't make it clear. But I felt like he was talking about stand-up because he was talking about, man, the stand-ups were funny and them too. So I think he was really talking about stand-ups, and Faizon was doing more about a breadth of your whole career, movies, TVs, and that's his opinion, saying in order to be a comedian, a good comedian, you have to have all those things. To me, a comedian, like I said, it depends on how you know. If I call you a comedian, you're a comedian. I mean, the other little thing, first, it all starts on the base of stand-up. To me, you're a stand-up comedian. That's where it starts. Now, what else you can do beyond that is something else. But there's some cold-blooded comedians. Paul Mooney, like I told you, who didn't have all that. Robin Harris, Patrice O'Neal. Those are great comedians. Now, if you feel that you have to do more to be, considered a comedian, that's on you. So I know some people who've done all three of those things and it's trash, okay, and all three of those damn things. And they've done a lot of those things that ain't really that good of a stand-up comic, and they do a lot of movies, TVs, or whatever, and stand-up, and they're really trash at the end of the day, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Capone, let me bring you in. When I'm hearing this conversation, Pierre mentioned some people. I'm also thinking about Dave Chappelle, or even in the music realm. I look at Lil Wayne, who has only done music, but he's still considered one of the greatest rappers. He's never done a movie. You don't see him in TV shows. He sticks to this one thing. So to be considered a great comedian, do you have to have the TV shows in addition to the movies in order to be considered great? What are your thoughts?
No, I don't. As Pierre broke it down, comedian is a comedian. If you act, you're an actor. If you can do both, then you can do both. The question was about comedians. Katt Williams is a great comedian. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of great comedians. I'm not supposed to say myself, but I can't help it. I am a great comedian. And I think people need to know that. And I've done movies. I've been on TV shows. I'm here on this show. And so, yes, I'm doing a lot of great things. And it didn't take for me to go through Hollywood or go through so to say, the other audience to become great. And that's what people think. I think that once you connect with the other audience, or mainstream, as they call it, white people, quote unquote, then you become great. But I perform for everybody. So it is what it is.
Hey, Symphony, when you brought up the comparison of Lil Wayne being known as a good rapper, I think the two comparisons is a hip hop artist and a rapper is like a comedian and a stand-up. For some people who want to break it down, a hip hop artist can be Common, Queen Latifah, Will Smith, who do a lot of stuff. A rapper, a great rapper like Will Smith, is he a great rapper or is he a great hip hop artist? I might give him a greater hip hop artist if you want to break it down like that with comedians and stand-up. For those who want to break it down, but like Capone said, comedian is comedian to me, but whatever else you do. But if you want to break it down, I would say for those who don't know the difference between comedian and a stand-up, hip hop artist and a rapper.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the breakdown. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's like if you do more, that's great, but it doesn't necessarily take away or make you, like, that's not what makes you great. You're great at your craft. And I think to me, I like you said, the way that you look at comedians, that's how I look at hip hop artists. Lil Wayne, I would consider him one of the greatest hip hop artists there is to live, and he's done one thing and he's great at it. If he was to do movies and TV shows, it would be, a great addition, but it doesn't take away from his greatness. But I kind of want to flip this question just a little bit. Capone, I'm going to start off with you. I know you mentioned that you're a great comedian, in which you are, but you cannot say yourself on this question, Capone. Okay, here's my question. So the question was asked, who's the most overrated? So I want to flip it a little bit. Capone, I'll start with you. Who do you think is the most underrated comedian that deserves more shine?
I mean, are they?
I'll do stand up comedian to make it. Okay. Yeah, there we go.
I would say, to me,
thank you.
JB Smooth is probably one of the great comedians that I think is underrated. That's kind of one of my favorite comedians. He's a comedian to me. Yeah, JB Smooth.
I like
and
that.
Pierre also.
Since you can't say it, okay.
What is it about JB that puts him in that position for you, Capone?
JB Smooth has he anywhere he goes as far as hitting that stage, he is phenomenal on the stage. And he went to Hollywood and he's doing his thing. And but I think as far as the comedy, he is so underrated. Like, you can watch him a million times and still pass out crying. Love his work.
Absolutely. I love it, Pierre. I'm coming to you. Same thing, Pierre. You cannot say yourself, but I'm curious to know, who is the most underrated stand-up? We'll go specific. Stand-up comedian for you.
Capone as well, without a doubt. All right, let me go this. I'm going to give it to more people that are on the come up that I think are very funny and just ain't really getting the shine that they should get, that are very underrated. I'll go from everywhere from a guy named Mario Torre, Special K, Kelly Kells, the Keys, Shima Franklin, Drew Thomas. There's so many comics that JP Justice, Sean Jones, Steve Brown, a lot of comedians that are just underrated. Just haven't got they're funny as hell. They've been around for a long time and just haven't hit the spot. So any one of those comics, and there's a bevy of other comics that I haven't even mentioned that are out there that's really doing their work, and funny is all outdoors.
I like that list. That brings up another question. Capone, I'm going to come to you to this one, and I'm going to end with Pierre. What do you think needs to happen for us to see more great comedians? Is it more opportunities? The people that you all named, why is it, that we aren't seeing them in those positions that we feel they deserve to be seen in? Capone.
Well, I think a lot of people should take the Capone route. I am one who loves helping out young comedians, and everybody who knows that. That's my whole demographics of Team Capone, is bringing in new guys that I feel are hungry, got raw talent. And I think that some of the veterans who are out there should stop being scared and worried about their places, and help out a lot of little brothers, including myself. I don't feel that I've reached the peak that I need to reach. I'm successful, yes, but there's still a lot of people who don't know me, and I'm aware of that. And there's still a lot of people who don't know my comedy. So if I come out with a new special right now, it'll be like a fresh face. And you would think that those that know how I get down would look out. But I've reached out to some people, even asked them. And that's where even the beef with me and Katt Williams came in at a little bit, because he called me and asked me to, he wanted to shoot my special. And it never came to, happen. And I called out Mike Epps, who was my boy, and that never came to happen. So I think a lot of brothers who are in that position that can help the next person should be there to help them. That's all that's my thing. I'm helping brothers, but on a smaller scale. I can do but so much, but I'm still doing my part.
I love that. Pierre, let me bring you in, ask the same question to you. What are your thoughts? What do you think needs to happen for us to see more great comedians in better positions?
One thing we got to start realizing is there's no more gatekeepers. Hollywood doesn't have the gatekeeper where there's one comic gonna make it per every 10 years, as we had from Richard Pryor, then they had Eddie Murphy, then it was Martin Lawrence, then it was Chris Tucker. We're not going through that no more. Mentally, we got to reach back and, like Capone said, look out for each other. Let people realize this internet thing here is now exploding. Look at Country Wayne. Look at DC DC Young Fly. There's no more gatekeepers, and we have to realize that. And we have to start supporting each other. Look at my PS Panic Room. I got a thing called 5 for 5, where I take young comedians or veterans and let them do 5 minutes of stand up and then 5 minutes of sit down. We get to know who they are, and I put them into my my PS Panic Room to give them some shine from my fan base. If more people do that, more comics do that, I don't have a problem with letting people shine with me. I put them on my shows. I do the Panic Room. I bring comics on that you haven't heard from a long time. Let them have shine again. Let just keep this engine going like Comedy Hype does. Keep it going. Keep talking about it. For some reason, sometimes comics get up to a certain level and they be like, man, hey, it was so hard to get up here. I ain't trying to pull no one else up here. I'm only going to hang around people who are on my level. You get what I'm saying? Instead of reaching back down. I don't have a problem. I ain't even on some of the people's level and I reach down. And if folks who know me, really know me, see how I do. I make movies. I put young comedians in my movies. Let them be funny in my movies and stuff. Speaking, I got 3 movies coming out called Slice 1, 2, and 3 coming out pretty soon. But all my stuff, my anything I do, if you notice, I put a lot of comedians on it. My Dating Pierre web series. So we have to start continue to put people in. I don't care if they don't do it. I'm going to continue to do it. That's what I do. Okay. And you say what you want, maybe I ain't gonna say it's hurting me, but it is what it is. I feel so great when I see comics that were in one of my movies and now they're doing really well. So we need just to reach back. You know what I'm saying? Let so many people stop being afraid to let other people ride with you. Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, I don't do it because I want them to do something for me, but we're human beings. And I know that the kindness of people say, hey, man, you looked out for me back in the days, man. I got you, bro. Now I'm on top. You know what I'm saying? But people are so sometimes afraid to help the next person because they worry about they taking their shine. How about this? If I help you, you may turn around and help me. If you get higher, the more I help, if I help 10 people, some of them going to help me. We ain't that bad when we can't look back and say, man, I remember this guy helped me or she helped me. So that's what I do.
Absolutely, and there's definitely enough room for all of us at the top. So I couldn't agree with you guys more, and I appreciate y'all for chiming in on this topic. Now, before we head out, of course, I like to know what you have coming up so people can support you. And of course, how can people follow you? Pierre, I'm going to kick it off with you. What do you have coming up? And of course, how can people follow you?
This Sunday, I will be in Arizona at the Shrine Auditorium. That is February 19th, 2023. For all my folks in Arizona, come holler at your boy. I'm at the Shrine Auditorium in Phoenix, Arizona. And you can always reach me at Comic Pierre, COMIC Pierre. I got a hot show this week on Pierre's Panic Room. I got Don DC Curry, and he's telling stories and spilling the beans. But the thing I really want to know, I want to holler at Faizon. What in the hell is Wicker Rap, nigga? What is Wicker Rap, nigga? What is that? Am I out of the loop with Wicker Rap? Come on, Faizon, tell us what Wicker Rap is. Wicker Rap.
Kavon, let me come over to you. What do you have coming up? And of course, how can people follow you?
This weekend, I'm in Baltimore. Baltimore Comedy Factory. Always have a great sellout 6 shows. We're doing it again. Also, I want to thank everybody that tuned in to Katt Back when I had the conversation with my daughter. They're looking for us to do a new podcast together to see how the young, works with the old. I don't want to say I'm the old one, but it was a very, very good show. And we're looking to do bigger things with my daughter. So follow me on Instagram, Comedian Capone. The one thing I ask, if you cannot spell comedian, please don't follow me.
It's always a joy. I appreciate you both for chiming in on this topic and truly giving insight. And honestly, just from me to you all, I appreciate what you all are doing for the younger generation and the doors that you guys are continuing to open and keep open for the ones to come. So thank you both for all that you do, both seen and unseen, and you are definitely appreciated. Now, you heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts about Faizon Love calling Katt Williams the most overrated comedian of all time? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Put it in them comments. You know what to do.
Culture sounds like shea butter, like kente cloth, like hot sauce, like a hug with 2 pats and a slide, like pride, like a hair bucket with oils and ribbons and bows, like my forces are all white, but my mama black.